What's good, people? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, please do subscribe down below, smash the like, hit the bell. Those things help out a lot. YouTube does notify people when we upload, so just make sure you smack that bell. Anyway guys, today we got a dope episode for you. It's all about revegging. A lot of people call it revegging, but technically speaking, it's really a form of regeneration. Now, have you ever mourned the loss of a particularly good plant after harvest? We all have our favorites. Like, I know I've lost quite a few and I wish I could get them back. Just forgot to take clones and here we are. We lost them. But what if there's a way that you can enjoy the same plant over and over again? That's right, I'm talking about regeneration or revegging, because that's what comes in handy when you forget to take clones. So in today's episode, I'm going to go through everything you need to know about revegging, regeneration, advantages, disadvantages, all that stuff. Because in a perfect world, most gardeners get rid of their plants once they've harvested their flowers. Once you receive your potent crop, it's time to move on to the next one, right? However, some growers do it a little differently, and those individuals use a lot of revegging or regeneration methods. And that's a method where you can harvest one plant multiple times, countless times. How exactly is that done? Like I said, in today's video, I'm going to break everything down for you. And I'm going to give you a banging tip at the end, so make sure you stick around to the end so you can always reveg your plants successfully. Now, before we get into that, guys, if you're looking for good equipment, Mars Hydro's got you covered. The discount code ICANTHE works across their entire website, man, and they always got new stuff coming out and always got sales going on. So definitely check it out. Use the discount code ICANTHE. You can even use it on sale items. Extremely dope. Save yourself some cash, support the channel. Thank you, fam. And just a quick reminder, don't forget to sign up for the ICAN Seed Club if you haven't already. Beans for a whole year. It's going to be awesome. We've got gold boxes going out and man, it's lit. And guys, just want to let you know that we're working on some awesome behind the scenes content for you. We're going to put everything together, so if you want some behind the scenes content, plant videos, all that stuff, drop a comment down below and let me know, because I'm putting together something dope for you guys. So definitely look out for that and stay freaking tuned. Know this channel is all about giving you guys the best experience out there. So yeah, that's what's up. Now without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Yes guys, so what is regeneration? A lot of people call it revegging, but technically in botany it's really referred to as regeneration. So what is regeneration? It's pretty much the repairing and renewing of plant tissues. That's all it is. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just gonna call it revegging, because we're all used to that term already. Revegging, right? Reveg, 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 reveg. Reveg. Now let's get down to business. As an annual flowering plant, our favorite medicinal plant is limited to a single season. This is how it's always been, and this is how it'll always be, no matter how much we fumble with the genetics. In simple terms, the plant grows when the days are long and it flowers when the days are short. That's why we have a light cycle. Now once it reaches the end of its life cycle, which is different from a light cycle, it dies. Now revegging is kind of like hacking that biological process. While the original plant will eventually die, growers can first revert it back to its vegetative stage. As a result, you can grow the same plant again for a second fruitful harvest. Now isn't that dope? Now it takes a while, so you may be asking why reveg your plants in the first place, and I mentioned it a bit in the intro. Whether it's your first plant or your 15th, there are plenty of reasons to reveg your plants. One of the most convincing is how much time you'll save in comparison to growing another plant from scratch. But revegging also has its disadvantages, so let's look at the pros and cons of each. Now revegging is pretty simple. All you gotta do is revert to a longer light period after harvest, and don't harvest the entire plant. But I'll get into that later. Like I said, I got some banging tips for you guys. Now the biggest benefit of revegging plants, like I said, is that you can preserve phenotypes. If you're growing a bunch of phenos and you find one that you really like, you can keep that one, flower it out, and then reveg it, and you keep it going again. And that way you can keep it going again and again and again. Now for a lot of growers who have plant restrictions, keeping good plants around is key. Having two plants with the same traits will always be better than having one from an unknown, because like I said, those plant limits can restrict how many plants you can grow. Now when you reveg, you don't need to keep a mother plant, and that's another big one. Ditching a mother plant can be emotional, especially if it's provided some of the best buzz you've ever had. Some growers try to keep mother plants around as long as possible, pruning, trimming, doing all sorts of stuff just to keep that mother plant, but it can get out of hand sometimes. Maybe she's just taking up too much space in your grow room, or tending to her is just taking up too much time and resources. But whatever the reason, revegging your plant means you don't need to keep a mother plant, but you can still produce a genetically identical crop. Now if time is of the essence for you, some growers have found revegging vastly speeds up that waiting period. Though it's more controversial, revegging shows potential to reduce the time spent in veg. Plants that have already lasted a full season have a complex mature root system in comparison to clones and younger plants that need to establish those roots. When you're revegging after harvest, those roots are technically already there. Now another big plus is that you get more bud from the same plant. More flower, same plant. Awesome. Now a lot of you may have already heard the term monster cropping, and I broke that down in a recent video for you guys as well. It's actually got over 100,000 views, so check that shit out. But monster cropping is simply a revegging technique. That's all it is. If it's done right, monster crop plants can thoroughly increase your yields by producing bushier plants, stronger stems, and more nodes for potential bud sites. So monster cropping is a great option if you forget to take clones during the veg stage. All it is taking clones from a flowering plant, and you reveg it. Now another benefit of revegging is that you don't need beans. How long does it take you to choose the right beans? If you're anything like me, it's a process that's, while fun, it can waste a lot of your time. Revegging your favorite plants already cuts the time in half. You don't need to germinate, you don't need to wait on the taproot, the cotyledon leaves to sprout, the first true leaves to form, top, all that stuff. Like, you just don't need to wait on it. And plus guys, if you're revegging to preserve some fire genetics, then you know you've got that fire genetics. It's not a gamble whether you like the bean you're about to pop or not. Now it's not all fun and games because there are some downsides to revegging. So here are some pitfalls that you need to be aware of when it comes to revegging. First off is the difficulty. While it may seem easy in theory, sometimes if you're a first time grower it can be difficult. So I'd suggest learn as much about the plant and how it grows before you try this technique. Now it can be time consuming because when it comes to revegging there's certain parts of the plant that you'll need to leave intact just so that new parts can form. Now another downside is time. Although it obviously doesn't take as long as a new plant, revegged plants can take a few weeks to show signs of regrowth. How long it takes to reveg is specific to the individual plant and its environment. For example guys, if you take too long to start the revegging process, it's going to take a lot longer for your plant to reach a flowering stage. Patience is key either way. After all, sometimes plants just grow slowly. Now training is another one. Even for some seasoned growers, training can be overlooked, which is a shame. Training your plants is one of the best ways to increase yields by more than 40% without messing with your setup. But that said, when it comes to revegging, the training process is harder. After all, you only have the skeleton of a plant to work with rather than a curious young plant that just wants to grow everywhere. Sometimes some of the regrowth may be very supple and soft as well, so you need to wait for it to get firm and hard.
Bruh.
That didn't sound right. Anyway, moving on. Now there is a rumor that you can get reduced yields from revegging if you do it over and over again. I'm not sure how true that is, but definitely drop a comment down below and let me know if you have any experience in that, because there are some people out there who reveg plants for more than 2-3 cycles. While some report the potency to be unchanged in the first few rounds, they suggest that each time it yields less flower. With each successive harvest you get less than the one previously. Eventually the potency and quality are also reduced and the bud is no longer viable. Now again, I'm not sure how true that one is, but that's just a rumor I heard. So you guys let me know what you think of that. Would the potency and the quality and the quantity of the flower decrease? I don't know. I'm not sure. Why would it? Are you just like taking too much from the plant? Differing theories on this. So drop a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Now one that you just need to watch out for guys is plant stress. Like every living thing, stress is a huge risk factor for plants. The mere process of revegging can stress the plant out and cause it to exhibit mutations or just trigger hermaphrodism. And if you don't know what hermes are, definitely check out our previous episode. We broke down hermes completely. But you get balls and buds, and you don't want that. That can lead to self-pollination. And you get seedy flower. And just keep in mind, a stressed plant takes longer to recover, so treat them well. They like to be baby, just like you as a kid. Now like I mentioned earlier, there are different types of revegging. Monster cropping is one where you take clones from a flowering plant. But there's also post-harvest revegging, which is very popular, and that's the method that you use to harvest one plant over and over and over. Now once you know what you're doing, is a pretty straightforward technique. So let me break down exactly how you can do it and give you my tips on how I get it done successfully. When it comes to revegging, you want to prune your plants. Be selective and only remove some of the buds. Keep any stems and flowers on the bottom third of the plant. New growth will then come from the growth tips after harvest. I speak a lot about lollipopping on this channel. Lollipopping is not a good thing to do if you want to reveg your plant. A lot of that lower growth is where the new growth comes from. It's also a good option to flush the roots. A lot of nutrients may have built up down there if you're growing with synthetics. It's always a good option to just water the plant and flush those out. After all, you'll be reverting the plant back to the veg stage, so it'll need more nitrogen heavy nutrients. Transplanting the plant is sometimes a good idea as well. You don't always have to do it, but it can help if you add fresh soil and further nutrients just to stimulate that growth process. Now the most important thing that you gotta do is restart the veg stage. Put your girl under 20 to 24 hours of light, reset her back to the veg phase. You basically gotta trick her into thinking spring or summer is here again. Long days. Perfect. Once she's recovered and she's back to the veg stage, you can put her on standard 18 hours of light per day. Now you want to just keep an eye on her. While while the plant shows signs of life, just be careful not to overwater. And this is a big one, guys, because that's how I killed my revegging plant. It'll literally take a little while before the plant shows signs of life. More water won't quicken that process up, but it'll just drown your plant's roots. Usually it'll take about 2 to 3 weeks before you see any signs of revegging or regeneration occur. And remember, that root zone is still intact, so don't overwater, don't overfeed. Can't do too much with all that water and nutrients. Now once your plant is fully revegged and you vegged it out and you're ready to flower again, you just change the light cycle back to 12-12 and you induce flowering. Simple, easy stuff. Those steps will help you reveg like a pro. A lot of the larvae, popcorn buds, and lower growth is key for revegging. Always remember that. Now, that's purposeful revegging, but sometimes people accidentally reveg their plants as well. And accidentally revegging your plants is incredibly common. In fact, it might have even happened to you. If it did, drop a comment down below and let me know. Plants can literally unexpectedly revert back to its veg stage for a number of reasons. Some of the causes are really simple and innocuous, but you definitely need to look out for those, because those can trigger Hermes and lengthen out that harvest process. Now if you're growing indoors, light leaks are a big cause of revegging plants. A lot of grows plants accidentally reveg due to light leaks. That's a big one. Remember, plants are photoperiod sensitive. Just remember, during that dark period, you don't want any light. Light leaks also trigger hermaphrodism, and that's not good. Now, faulty timers are another cause for this. Revegging plants. Electronics break sometimes. Technology can go wonky. If you have a faulty timer, your plant can be subjected to longer light periods than it needs, and you don't even know it. So always check up on those timers just to make sure things are running the way they're supposed to. Like I said, the plants are super sensitive to light. Now, accidental revegging is not the end of the world. If it happens, there are a few things that you can do in that situation. On the one hand, you can let it reveg completely. Maybe you can start learning about plants a bit more, give you a head start on revegging. But either way, leaving an accidental reveg to veg won't harm your plants at all. But if you really want to progress to flower, eliminate any light leaks, check up on those timers, make sure you're getting darkness during the dark period, and give your plant that 12 hours of uninterrupted darkness a day. Then it'll return back to the flowering stage. Like I mentioned a few times already, the one possible downside to plants switching states quickly or more than once is the possibility of hermaphrodism. You need to be wary of that. So when you make the switch, always watch out for pollen sacs or balls. Those little buggers can be sneaky and hide behind the buds. If you see a few of them, carefully remove them to try to save the plant from pollinating itself and developing seeds instead of resin. If you see too much, it may be a goner. All that said, revegging is an awesome technique and it can save you a lot of things. With many benefits. You can achieve multiple harvests from one plant. Experienced growers tend to have more luck when it comes to revegging, but simple things can go wrong along the way. Even simple things can go wrong along the way. Overwatering happened to me quite a few times. But one of the biggest benefits of revegging is the speed. A lot of people say a reveg plant will be ready for flower in just 3 to 6 weeks. Just think of the benefits of that. It's already a big structure. So what do you guys think? Do you reveg your plants? Have you ever revegged? Do you not want to reveg? Are you the kind of person that just grows one strain and is on to the other one? Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment down below. I'm always interested to find out what you guys got to say, and revegging is a neat ass process. So smash the like for revegging plants, harvesting multiple times. Don't forget to hit the bell. But wait, first, check out this video right here and this video right here, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace, fam.